I know exactly what you're
that I
about, Mike. I
enlightened,
know
right?
exactly what
I
you're
think it's
about.
you who's fishing.
You're clout
And
chasing
you're
poverty. You're
upset
clout
because you
chasing
don't have the
racism.
ability
You're a
to do
clout chaser of
research
just
on
about
it.
everything
You know,
that
you
you
can just
talk
go on
about.
Google right now
You're
and
a
type
clout
in the Civil
chaser.
Rights Act,
Everybody, just to
and it
let you know,
comes up
Mike
the
is a
same
clout
thing that
chaser
you're
out of
pondering.
Sacramento,
I'm not
California.
gonna do that.
And
And I'll
he'll
tell you
do and
why.
say just about
I'll tell you
anything. And
why.
he'll do a lot of reading to make himself sound
Hey guys,
professional.
if anybody
And he
wants to
did
come up
have this
here,
ready to go. And this is nice
hey,
that he had this ready to go.
So I'm on YouTube the other day and I see a stream titled "Are Black Americans Anti-African?" and the channel was ran by an African. There was nothing but Africans on the panel and one token white boy. So I said, this is a strange dynamic. I mean, we're discussing Black Americans, but I don't see a single Black American on the panel. So I clicked the link and I joined, and boy, oh boy, was I in for a surprise. You see, I made the claim that most of us Black Americans by default are Pan African. I made the claim that the civil rights movement paved way for immigration reform that resulted in Africans being able to migrate here easier. And I also shared my screen and cited a source, and for whatever reason, that triggered the white man. The white man became very, very triggered. He tried to discredit my source. He tried to discredit and slander me. And when I asked him to share his screen and cite his source, he refused to do so. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is going to be a class act on I'm White and I Say So. This is going to be a very interesting exchange when we know throughout history white folks only get down with some Africans if they're exploiting them in one way or another. We know that any white man who's vibing with Africans, more often than not, there's some white supremacists that are just trying to take some notes and get ready for another wave of colonization. So when I saw that there was some token white boy on the panel vibing with the Africans, I knew that this white man was going to end up saying something reckless and showing his ass, and all it took was Mike to bring it up out of him. But I mean, as far as Black Americans, I mean, we're the ones who kind of invented Pan Africanism. I mean, our civil rights movement paved way for immigration from the continent of Africa, and
Yeah,
and also
but
if I
yeah,
had to
but that
just
really has nothing to
hold
do
on,
with.
if you could just not interrupt me till I'm done speaking, and also if I had to just give a number or percentile off the top of my head, I would say that 60% of Black Americans identify with Pan African ideology. I would say only 4% of Black Americans are the ones that identify as either ADOS or FBA or Black Native and distance themselves from Africans. I mean, by and large, the average Black American believes the Roots movie, believe we all came from slave ships, and that, you know, Africans are distant brothers and sisters, even to the point where they relocate permanently to Africa, even when they see sometimes their fellow Americans are being murdered when they do that. So I don't know. I think there is this online community that's very against Africans or are even anti-African, but that's still a pretty niche population on the internet. By and large, Black
Mhm.
Americans are Pan Africans, in my opinion, at least. I don't know where Kaizo just went though, but I think Zongo has something he wanted to say, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you just speaking. I kind of lost my train of thought. Like I wanted to interject earlier, but I kind of like I got distracted along the way. Um,
Yeah, so again, I was just saying, I think that a vast majority of Black Americans identify as Pan African, and our civil rights movements and other things have paved the way for Africans to come over here. So I think by and large, Black Americans aren't anti African, but there are fringe communities that are definitely anti African.
oh, okay. Yeah, but like 50%, man. I don't really think so, man. Hey, like, 'cause
Can you guys
man,
hear
like,
me?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
one correction though. There were already African immigrants in America before the Immigration Act that were being immigrated over here.
I never said that didn't happen. I just said that
Uh,
immigration was eased and it was easily paved way by civil rights legislation.
okay,
Actually,
but I thought civil rights
before
was equal for, you know, fighting for equal rights for black folks in America, but not where in the Civil Rights Act does it talk about immigration?
if
Because
I
I've
can
never
share my
read anything.
screen, I'll cite my sources
Sure,
right now. I mean,
sure.
I'm not sure if I can share my screen. I've got it queued up, Kaizo, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let me fix my internet.
You
Wait.
Okay,
just drop it. Just drop it a link.
there we go. So it says in the narrow and probably filthy and damp cell in Birmingham, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote a long letter explaining why nonviolent protest that landed him in jail was morally right and just. He admonished the reader that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. He criticized those who might have, out of good intention, counseled African Americans fighting for equality and justice to wait for a quote unquote more convenient time. He laminated that we will have to repent in this generation not merely for the hateful words and actions of the people, or excuse me, of the bad people, but for the appalling silence of the good people. All these still ring true today. The civil rights movement that culminated in the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 ushered in a new age when we could envision the color of one's skin may be neither an advantage nor a disadvantage. It also led to the overhaul of our immigration system, dismantling the preferences favoring those from the Western Hemisphere by offering equal opportunity to everyone who immigrated to the United States without discrimination based on one's national origin under the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. The United States ascended to the 1967 protocol relating to the status of refugees that expanded the definition of refugees beyond the post-World War II European context. So that's my source.
Okay, but what's the source? You're reading text, but what's the source of this text?
HoustonImmigration.org.
Okay, so where's the official immigration documents from the U.S. government?
You're on the computer as well. You can search for them.
But I'm asking you because I didn't know this information right here, what you're reading until you just brought it up. So that's why I'm asking, where is the real source? To get this information, there's a real source. So where's the real source?
Well, it says the civil rights movement that culminated in the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Right. But where does that actually have to do? What does that actually have to do with
maybe if
immigration?
you're not interrupting me, you can be enlightened because you're asking me a question but interjecting at the same time, right?
But what you're trying to do is you're trying to enforce something that you read that we all listen to.
I'm not enforcing anything.
Yes, you are. What you're not doing is you don't have that source
while I am
of where this
that
came
source.
from.
The Civil Rights Act was in 1964. Then
Okay,
in 65, literally the following
the
year,
Immigration
they
and
changed
Nationality
the
Act of
Immigration and Nationality
1965.
Act.
So what does that say?
Maybe you can Google it. I don't have
Okay.
to educate you for free, right?
Okay, well, that's fine.
I said civil rights
but
paved
this
way for
conversation in the
immigration,
past, this
and this
conversation in the
says right
past with
here
other
that the
people.
civil rights movement paved way for reform and immigration.
Okay, that's
So
what
there you go.
they're saying. That's what they're saying.
And do you have any
But
source that says something else?
I've had conversations in the
I don't
past
care
where
about your
this was brought up.
conversations. Do you want to share
Well,
your
I do.
screen
Well,
and
I
show your
do. Well,
source
I
that
do.
says something
I've
else?
had conversations in the past
I
where
shared my
Immigration and
screen and I
Nationality
said
Act
it
of
my source. Share
1965
your
does
screen
not
and
say
type your
anything
source.
that the Civil Rights Act of
So you
1964
can't
had
share your
anything
screen.
to
You can't
do
cite a source.
with that act in
You had a
1965. So
conversation.
unless you can prove that,
I got it.
I will
I
not
can share my
differ on
screen and
what
I
I
can cite my
believe
source.
until
So
you can
you want us
actually
to
prove
believe
that from the
something
actual
because
Immigration and
you
Nationality Act
say
of
so?
1965. So prove that
Are you on a
first,
smartphone or
and then
something? Is that why
what
you
you
can't
just
share
read
your
would be
screen and
more
type your
valid. So
source,
you have
or
to
are you
prove that
just
first.
refusing to? Because I think you would properly prove your point if you cited your source.
No, I'm asking you. Well, here, there's a
Don't ask
source
me
that says
anything. I'm
Immigration
not
and
going to
Nationality
educate
Act of
you free of charge
1965.
any
I
longer.
asked
If
you for a
you have
source, and you brought up a source that doesn't actually come from the direct source, which is the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. So unless we read that one,
why don't
that
you
will
share your
tell us
screen and
yes
let
or
me know what
no
you're talking about,
if the
Playboy?
Civil Rights Act of
Instead of this,
1964 had
I'm
anything to
Caucasian
do
and I say
with the
so.
Nationality Act
Hey,
of
I had
1965.
conversations. Hey, Mike, I know you just pulled up HoustonImmigration.org. Hey, Mike, I know you just read that the Civil Rights Act was in 1964 and they changed the Immigration Nationality Act in 1965, and it says it was in direct correlation to the Civil Rights Act. But hey, Mike, I'm Caucasian and I say so. I'm not going to share my screen. I'm not going to cite a source. I'm just going to bark at you, interject.
Okay. So what you want to do is you see when you add in, because I'm Caucasian and I say so, you want to make this a race thing because you're a race baiter. That's what you are. You're a race baiter. Don't think I don't know you because I've watched your show off and on for a couple of years. I know exactly what you're about.
Inciting.
So I didn't hesitate when you came
See how
up
that
here.
works?
So I knew that you were fishing for some information so you can have little cue points for your next live stream or a couple
Oh yes,
live
I'm
streams.
fishing for information.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
need
That's you're
information
fishing for
from you
information so
tonight.
that way you can
I'm
go
not
ahead and get
here
that AdSense
educating
check or
you.
whatever check
I'm
that
fishing
you're
for
getting on
information
YouTube.
as you're requesting.
I know exactly what you're
that I
about, Mike. I
enlighten
know
you,
exactly what
I
you're
think it's
about.
you who's fishing.
You're clout chasing
You're
poverty. You're
upset
clout
because you
chasing
don't have the
racism.
ability
You're a
to
clout
do
chaser of
research,
just
huh?
about everything
You know,
that
you
you
can just
talk
go on
about.
Google right now.
You're a
type
clout
in the Civil
chaser.
Rights Act,
Everybody, just to
and you
let you
can
know,
look up
Mike is a
anything
clout
that's
chaser out of
Congress.
Sacramento,
I'm not
California.
gonna do that.
And
I'm
he'll
not
do and say just about anything, and he'll do a lot of reading to make himself sound
Hey guys,
professional.
if anybody
And he
wants to
did
come
have
up
this
here,
ready to go, and this is nice
great.
that he had this ready to
What's
go.
your source?
The
We don't know.
HILSC.
Maybe
He
he's out in
really
the
doesn't know.
sticks. Maybe he's out in the
So
boonies.
anyway, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Let's
Actually,
see if he's
I don't know
willing
forever.
to actually go to the Immigration Act of
inside.
1965
Trying to
and
make
hear
it
what
seem
they
like
have to
our
say,
civil
because
rights movement
they are
was
the
not
ones
usher
that
in a
made the
new
decision
age where
to change the
immigration
act. So
directly
let's find out
impacted.
why they
That's
changed the act.
exactly what it says
If they
right
changed the act based on what this website
So I
said,
ask if you can
I
do me
will
a
shut
favor.
my mouth. I
I
will
really
shut my
hope
mouth
you're gonna
because when I've read the Immigration Act in the
like
past,
dance boy, so can
I
you
don't
do
remember
dance?
hearing anything about the Civil Rights Act changing
Start
it.
shucking and
So
jiving a little bit
if
faster.
we can
So I know
actually read it, if we can actually
Can you
read it,
try to catch
and
the
they actually
1,
say that
2,
the Civil
3,
Rights Act of
4, 5, 6,
1964
7,
is the
8,
one that
1,
actually
2,
changed it,
3, 4,
then I'll
5,
shut my
6,
mouth.
7, 8.
That'll
1,
be great.
2,
And then I'll be corrected. But I can see that Mike is not willing to do that, everybody. See
not
how
the
Mike
rich man,
is?
but a beige
See
man.
how
I
Mike
have
is?
faith that you can
That's right.
beat.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
A little bit better, because right now you're not doing a good job. Damn, that Caucasian stamina has failed you, huh?
Case in point, everybody.
You ready to share your screen yet, or nah?
No, I can go ahead and read it again later. I'm not going to go and find it now, but I will read it
Oh,
again
I know, I know, I
just for
know.
myself. But
You're
since
not
you
gonna
brought
share
this
your
up,
screen
since
and
you
cite
brought
your
this up,
sources. You're gonna
since you
publicly try
brought
to
this
discredit
one
me
up,
while not citing any sources.
it would actually
That's what you're
behoove
gonna
you
do.
to
I got
actually
it.
bring up the actual Immigration
I got it.
Act.
That's
Are you
cute.
scared
That's
to read the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965? Are you scared?
Are you not at a computer?
Are you scared?
I don't
I'm
think
at
you
a computer.
understand, sir.
Are you
I don't
scared?
work for you.
So you're
I don't get
asking
demanded
me a
to pull up an
question
act
instead of
and then
giving
I
the
say
answer to
yes
a question.
and pull up a Google for yourself, dumbass.
I've Googled it in
You
the
see
past.
so
I've
bad
read it in the
on your
past.
smartphone.
I'll read it
Open up a
again.
Google Chrome tab.
I will read it
Who
again.
do you think you are?
Trust and believe.
Wow, lazy and
No. Who in the F do you think you
lazy
are,
and
Mike?
entitled. And I really
Because
just
everywhere you go, Mike, it seems to be
so
a ziphonia, what do you call it? A racial thing with you,
because
an
I'm gonna
economic
run some
thing with
numbers on
you.
you. This is gonna
Anything that
oh, Lord,
causes
my audience
division,
is going
you
to
seem
love
to want to talk about
that.
those points. If a conversation has nothing to do with what you want to talk about, you find a way to talk about it. So what you really like to do, and I've seen you do it in the past on other people's live streams, you
Oh
like to
damn, you
hijack.
watch me.
You
Oh
like to
Lord, this
hijack.
is what it is, y'all. He got a fetish. He watches Mike TV.
Oh, see, here we go. Now we're hearing his perversion. Now we're hearing his sexual perversion.
I've never seen you before.
By calling
familiar.
somebody
I
else
really
that they
don't
got a
care
fetish.
about
So
what
now
you
he's into
say.
sexual perversion because he had to bring out the word fetish.
Interesting. Damn, I feel kind of creeped out now.
Now, Zongo, this is what I'm
How long have
talking
you
about.
watched me for?
This is part of what I'm talking about. What Americans
Now
think.
he's going to try to.
It doesn't matter what color your skin is. You'll find weirdo Americans like this.
You just want to talk
Like this.
something, and
You watch his videos, Zongo. Go over and watch his
Mike,
videos. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Actually, sir,
And watch the ones where he talks about
the
Africans
title was,
versus
"Are Black
African Americans.
anti-African?"
Then you'll find out what he's really talking about. Because when he was asking you those questions, Zongo, he wasn't even sincere. He wasn't even sincere.
I'd call in and speak for us native Black American folks.
And when we speak about whether or not we're anti-African, and I say no, we're not, because we've paved way for Africans to come here and we
You
welcome
didn't
them
pave
with
way
open
for
arms.
anybody to
And
come
then
here.
I share my screen and cite my source, and then you get to doing some babbling. So go ahead and keep babbling. Don't stop. I know that your mouth got a little dry, your lips are parched. Just go ahead and lick your lips and keep babbling, boy.
And this is the
Keep
thing that
babbling,
Mike
boy.
likes to do when he loses a debate of any kind. This is what he
Damn,
resorts
y'all.
to.
I had no
This is
idea
what he
that I just
resorts to.
lost a debate when I'm the only one who cited a source, y'all. Isn't that wild? Isn't it so crazy how Mike
And you seem to
lost
be
a
scared of
debate
the
when I'm
Immigration and
the only one
Nationality Act of
who cited a debate and cited
1965.
sources
So
for
if
my
he
claim?
doesn't want to
Damn.
actually
Damn. I
cite
guess I lost a
the
debate
information
because he's
of the
Caucasian
actual
and he says
Immigration
so.
Act, he
It's like
wants to
I'm
cite a
bring up the
third
Civil Rights
party
Act on demand.
that might be an opinion.
He says so.
So
Oh
therefore, his
Lord,
source is not
Lord.
valid until we
The
actually go
comment
to the
tab you
direct
gave me,
source.
they didn't set you straight.
This
But
is
I'll set you
why
straight, boy.
when
Oh
you have to be
Lord,
careful when you
I
listen to
will give
Americans
you a
like
whooping.
this.
I'll give you a whooping. You ain't
This
never
is the
felt it
problem
before.
with America. They
I
will
give
go
you
ahead
a
and
whooping
twist
that
the
makes you
story
rethink.
to their
Feel
narrative to make you
attacked because
believe
that makes
something
you
that's not
rethink
true
the
or
errors of your
halfway
ways. Oh
true.
Lord, the whooping I give you, you'll remember for a long, long time, and thousands will witness it. Oh Lord, you won't be able to
Whatever,
live
Mike.
down.
You go ahead and
Babble,
make that
I mean,
cute little
you
reaction
really
that you like to do
gas
whenever you
pedal.
got your butt whooped.
You really thought
And
you
I
had
wasn't even fighting
gas
with you.
there,
Wasn't
but
even debating with
really
you.
wavering.
You couldn't even
You
cite the
don't
actual
like you
source.
really get some of
You
that
had to go somewhere else. You
that
can't cite the
Arkansas
actual
pride
source.
you have and start speaking with your chest, boy. Talk like a man.
I'm waiting for you to be a man. So is everybody waiting for him to be a man? Is Mike a man? I'm not exactly with the details, but I'm not going to waste my time. But there was some stuff about him in Portland, Oregon, about scamming somebody, something to do with his baby's mother and the father or something like that.
Damn, yo,
Do
he's
you
a
want
professor.
to tell us about
He
that,
knows
Mike?
I have a
Because a
baby
lot of people
mother,
brought up the
baby
court records
father,
about you,
but he's heard that
about
there's
your
something about
scams.
me in Portland, huh? Let's hear the white man gossip. Oh Lord, the white man loves to gossip. I know he's
So
trying
those
to play
court cases
safe,
aren't real.
real
Those
hold on,
court papers are not
damn it,
real.
you black folks. But let's hear the white man
Are
gossip.
those
And I
court
wonder
papers not real? You bring up
what he's
court
talking
cases
about
on
is
other people,
valid.
so the ones about
Why
you
he
is
can't
not real,
share his screen
huh,
and
Mike?
cite his source. Hey, we know you. We know you love you. White folks love conspiracy. Hey, you white folks be on the History Channel talking ancient aliens and the pyramids was built by the Anunnaki and shit.
Listen
You
to
white
this
folks
racism
love
rhetoric, everybody.
conspiracy.
This is
That's
what you have
why
to
I
put
told
up
you I
with
had
in
on
America sometimes.
cue the X Files music. Do 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 do.
And now you get to listen to him make himself
Hey,
look
this Mike
and
guy,
sound like a clown.
guys, I really watch this Mike TV guy. I watch him all
Mm-hmm.
the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I heard through the grapevine that, like, in Portland, Oregon, like, his baby mother or his baby father or something, dude, like, something happened out there, and this guy, Mike, he's just no good, dude. I'm telling you, just take my word for it, bruh. Come on, you got to come better than that. I said you got to catch the rhythm, boy.